Hey everyone, thanks for your support in 2024. We have a lot of cool stuff coming in 2025, and here are some of the things you can look forward to as we move into next year. In the lead up to The Mandalorian and Grogu in 2026, we'll be starting a full series rewatch of both The Mandalorian and The Book of Boba Fett on exploring hyperspace lanes beginning in October. You can also expect a rewatch of Andor, and we will have reviews of every episode of Andor and the rest of the Skeleton Crew as those come out. Josie will be returning as we continue to rank every Star Wars thing released ever. Reviews of every episode of every Marvel Disney Plus show, including Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, The Eyes of Wakanda, Wonder Man, Ironheart, Daredevil Born Again, and Marvel Zombies, the day after each episode releases, will be available on Beware of Spoilers. We'll be having special event podcasts on 30-minute reviews for the Academy Awards, our 2024 year in review in early January, ranking all of Phase 5 of the MCU after Fantastic Four First Steps comes out, and our 10th anniversary special. Once we complete our rankings of all the Pokemon games on the backlog files, we'll be moving on to Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy. Over on the YouTube channel, you can join in for playthroughs of Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, Pokemon White, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Blue Rescue Team, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts Recoded, Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, Sonic Adventure 2, LEGO Racers 2, LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, and SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. Want to keep on top of all the new things we have coming? Subscribe at mwpnews.com, subscribe on YouTube at youtube.com/@mwpnews, or subscribe to Beware of Spoilers, 30-minute reviews, exploring hyperspace lanes, and the backlog files on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Again, thank you for your support. Good morning. Well, by the time it goes up, afternoon. And welcome to Beware of Spoilers. I am Adam. We're here today to talk about the Doctor Who Christmas special because it's been so long since we had Doctor Who at a consistent cadence like this that I forgot that it came out. And I had known it was coming because I had heard, like, you know, the thing that, like, Stephen Moffat was coming back to write the episode, and it was going to be this, you know, this Christmas special with Nicola Coughlan of Bridgerton, and I have to say, the fact that Moffat wrote this kind of exemplifies every criticism I've ever seen of Moffat kind of in one episode. And the thing is, let's just talk about this real quick. I've said this before. Back in, like, 10 years ago, probably closer to 15 years ago at this point. No, 10, because it would have been around this time 10 years ago. I was really into Doctor Who. I was watching, you know, it would have been about 10 years ago, because this is about the time that Matt Smith regenerated into Peter Capaldi. Because it was the Christmas special in 2014, so 10 years ago. I was really into Doctor Who, and Stephen Moffat was the showrunner. And the thing about this show that you know, someone on Tumblr at the time really encapsulated the big issue I had with Stephen Moffat's writing, besides his complete dismissal of women, which we see more of in this episode. But, like, the big issue I have is Stephen Moffat is great at writing moments. He's great at writing individual small moments, like these big grand things that are, like, really cool. And are like, and we've seen this with, like, oh, dead cat. Oh, I hate that. Like, sorry, I'm driving and something down the side of the road. Anyway, like, you know, the Pandorica opening, the Field of Trenzalore, like, all those things are really cool. Where he struggles is leading up to it. Like, the lead up to it, you know, and everything that comes around it. And here we have kind of an episode full of that. The Time Hotel is this really, really cool idea. I love the concept of the Time Hotel. Where it's like, you are you can go there. Every room is a different time period, a big historic event. You can spend the night there. Like, it's a really cool idea. And it's conducive to interesting storytelling, especially in what Doctor Who basically is, which is a kind of science fiction anthology series, where each time you show up, there's new characters, new things, and it's just about to solve what's going on. There's that. There is the Doctor being stranded for a year and needing to live out like a human, helping out around this, rinky-dink hotel in London. That's also a really cool idea. I also really like the way that they handle that, because it's like, that's also an interesting story, where it's like, strip away the time traveler and all of that. What does this mean for him? He's got to live out that year. And then there's the idea of like the girl who had to live through COVID and had to say goodbye to her mother on an iPad. And there's that great moment where she's like, the rich and the powerful were out having parties, and I had to say goodbye to my mother on an iPad because I followed the rules. And that's a great moment too. And these are all great things that kind of happen in this episode. The problem is, a lot of the connective tissue that link all these things together don't really work a lot of the time. Like, the very beginning, when we're getting the introduction of the Time Hotel and how the Time Hotel works, I'm like, oh, this is really cool. Like, him with that guy, the concierge at the Time Hotel, is really, I really love the way the two play off of each other. As the Doctor's kind of trying to get acclimated to the rules and fake his way through this conversation. It's really entertaining. And then, the introduction of Joy is entertaining. And seeing the Doctor interact with the concierge woman at the hotel that he's stuck at for a year is really entertaining. And again, you could do something where it's like there is this time hotel where there is the ability to go anywhere you want, infinite time. Like, that's a really cool idea. But you can't have it's a really cool idea, but at the same time you can't, to juxtapose it with him, this man who has that already, who is now stuck because of that and has to live out time normally. That's a really interesting juxtaposition, but they don't really do enough with it. And then it's like the whole thing where it's like, oh, so how does he end up there? Okay, he needs to get this code. How does he get the code? Okay, well, he's got to work it out. And then in the year, he doesn't work it out, and it's just, he just guessed the code, and he told the code to himself. Like, that whole thing was just like, it's plot contrivance. Like, I don't need any of that. Like, just, that was silly to me. And the thing is too, it's like, and let's not even get to the end where it's like, why did Joy? And again, this isn't the first time I've asked this question of a character that was, a Stephen Moffat kind of character. Why did this character have to die? Like, I don't think she, there's any reason why she had to become the star. Like, is there no other way to do this? She, the stakes are never really laid out, besides, the star, if it becomes the full star, is going to destroy all of, all the world, and it's like, oh, and the star erupts on Christmas Day in the year, there were so many things that I was just like, what? Why? It's, I don't know if it's enough where the good outweighs the bad. I think, to an extent, it does. It's one of those things where we've talked about this before, too, this idea that, the ending kind of defines how we're going to receive this. This idea that, the last thing we see of a TV show or a movie is going to be the thing that we're going to leave the experience freshest with. It's why the trailers tend to end on the one thing they want you to talk about, the thing that they want you to be like, oh shit, Red Hulk slamming down Captain America's shield, Thanos lassoing the planet, lassoing the moon and pulling it down as a pure display of his power. I think that was the last thing in the first Infinity War trailer. Civil War trailer too, with Spider-Man showing up. That whole thing is just so great. That thing, and I got sidetracked, but the point of that is, you are telling you are telling the last thing you want people to talk about is that. So what I'm stuck with leaving this is that you had all these cool ideas in play and all of these interesting things kind of being explored, but at the end of the day, none of it really comes to pass fully, and that's something that I'm kind of like, this is not great. I hope we don't get more Moffat at any point in the future. This episode kind of like, if you want to give a primer to what the entire period of him as showrunner does for the show, like, this is a great episode to do it with, because it's just this idea of like, oh, like, we're gonna, there's this woman who's a mystery box, and and her role is to either die or something else. It's like he's got very misogynistic views of women, and it shines through in his writing, and it's all of these things that just kind of never really come. Like, Joy is not a developed character in this at all. Joy is a plot device who is there to die. Like, and to give us a thought on the COVID-19 pandemic. That's what she's there to do. She's there to exposit that information and then die. Like, she doesn't have the autonomy to be like, oh, well, I want to do X, Y, and Z. She's literally, like, she goes to the hotel because she can't be home for Christmas because her mother died on Christmas. Okay, that's exposited toward the end, but she goes to this hotel on Christmas Day and stays there. And she is, and she's there to explain to the doctor that he's the same as her. Like, it's, the whole thing is just kind of like, why even bother going out of your way to cast Nicola Coughlan for this? It just feels like stunt casting for a small role that, like, at the end of the day, it's like she gets top billing in the episode, like, in the opening credits, but, like, I would argue that the woman that he spends all the time with living at that hotel has more of an impact on the episode than Joy does. Like, it's I don't know. And I'll say this is a 2.5 star, is what we'll say this is. 2.5 stars, because I think it is entertaining enough. I think there's a lot of good, a lot of interesting, but I think a lot of it doesn't live up to what we are, what it should have been. It should have been better. Especially when you have so many grand concepts in play and so many interesting ideas in play. This should have been better. And it's just not. And that's the disappointment that I have with this. But we'll wrap up there for today. And until our next episode, have a great rest of your week.